All right, if you just joined us, you're still on to Enterprise Morning, reaching you from Enterprise Television. Let's get to our main conversation for today. The Federal Capital Territory FCT High Court has remanded Yahaya Bello, former Kogi State Governor, in Efcc custody over a 16-count charge of alleged money laundering.
Bello pleaded not guilty while his co-defendants, Omaro Sheab Oricha and Abdulsalami Hudo, were previously granted administrative bail.
Bello's lawyer, Joseph Veldu, argued for bail, emphasizing his client's presumed innocence, while EFCC counsel Kemi Pinheiro opposed the application, citing invalidity and concerns about non-appearance in a related case.
Pinheiro also opposed Oricha's bail, claiming potential for repeated offenses, which Daudu refuted. The court adjourned after hearing arguments from both sides.
Meanwhile, the Federal High Court in Abuja struck out a suit filed in Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's name against the EFCC, alleging threats of arrest and harassment.
Judge Joyce Abdul Malik dismissed the case after Sanwo-Olu's lawyer, Benga Akande, moved to discontinue it. Sanwo-Olu had publicly disowned the suit, claiming he did not authorize its filing.
The EFCC, in its defense, denied investigating or threatening the governor. Despite claims of harassment, EFCC argued the case was speculative and misleading.
The suit was officially withdrawn on October 31, and no representatives from Sanwo-Olu's side appeared for the rescheduled hearing on November 26.
Thank you so very much. And we're about to have our conversation for today. Joining us virtually is Francis Nwakpa. He is a public affairs analyst. Good morning to you, Francis, and welcome to Enterprise Morning today.
Good morning, Francis.
Yeah, good morning, and thanks for having me.
Thank you so very much.
So much.
All right, so let's get into our conversation for today. And I know it's been one of the most publicized and trendy news in Nigeria today, Yahaya Bello and his issue, his fracas with the EFCC. And my question to you is, do you think there is a script behind the curtain that Nigerians have not yet read?
Well, the first is to even stray why Yahaya Bello himself is, is being arraigned. Yahaya Bello, as you know, a former governor of Kogi State, who under his administration, could not pay workers. Under that administration, there were arbitrariness. Workers were owed for months, several months. Massive corruption within the administration. And one would expect that despite all the revelations of corrupt practices in that, his administration, that the Economic and Financial Crime Commission, as an institution empowered by law to carry out an in-depth, investigation and bring to book those who have perpetrated financial crimes in this country. One would have expected that the financial EFCC would have swooped on Yahaya Bello, immediately he left office. But you and I have seen what has happened in almost 2 years. The back and forth of Yahaya Bello. At first, he was incommunicado. The EFCC said they don't know where he was. Even when he was declared wanted by a court, the EFCC, the police, still did not find, Yahaya Bello. And all of this answers the question that there is a script behind all of this.
Very true, because that was why I asked if truly there was a script.
Okay, thank you, Francis. But now talking about the script, and let's get into Lagos State and the Governor Sanwo-Olu. It is being believed that there is no smoke without a fire. And now Mr. Sanwo-Olu last month disowned the suit through a statement by the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Lawal Pedro. Who should we believe? The court is saying that the case is misleading, and Sanwo-Olu is coming out to say he never filed such a suit. How will a suit be filed without the information or without the governor giving a go-ahead? And at this point, the court is saying the suit is misleading. Who do we believe? Should we believe that, okay, this will be another script that is being played out between the Efcc, the court, and Governor Sanwo-Olu in question?
In the first instance, Sanwo-Olu have nothing to be worried about. He has nothing to be worried about.
Why do you say so?
He has nothing to be worried about. You remember, what's his name? The former Edo State governor, Shomole, who told us that if you want your sins to be forgiven, just join APC and be a member of the APC. So I don't think any APC governor, or a member of the ruling elite should be scared.
Except Yahaya Bello. Except former Governor Yahaya Bello, who is, of course, in the APC, is still being prosecuted.
Yahaya Bello's own.
Yes.
Yahaya Bello's own is a script. If they wanted to arrest Yahaya Bello would have been arrested. But the reason why Yahaya Bello's, is going through this process now is because Nigerians have refused to relent on the call for the arrest of Yahaya Bello. And the state is pressured, to play out that script. Yahaya Bello is not the first. We saw all of this script played out during Patricia Ike, Olisa Metu, Fayoshe. All of these scripts have been playing on between 1999 to date. So any governor who is under the ruling elite, or members of the ruling elite, have nothing to worry about. So Sanwo-Olu filing a case, to prevent the EFCC from arresting him when he's done. When he's through. As governor. It's just blowing it out of proportion. I wonder what he came to achieve through that, because he is aware that the state, his godfather, is the one in presidency, and there is nothing that will happen to Sanwo-Olu, even though the young people, beyond the corruption going on in Lagos State, the looting that is going on in Lagos State, the young people of Nigeria, of Lagos State, still have cases against Sanwo-Olu as to who ordered the Lekki massacre, as to who gave the directive to the killings of the young people, during the 2020 protests. So beyond the issue he's having with the EFCC, he has a case to answer, to the young people, in Lagos State.
Thank you, Francis. Now, you mentioned something. You talked about his godfather being the one in presidency, and the EFCC, we're seeing them playing the scripts out. Now, if all these things should continue, when are we going to have leaders who have actually occupied leadership position answer to the citizens of Nigeria and give detailed accounts on how the public funds were being spent, and maybe they should be prosecuted and face the consequences of their wrong actions? If they continue to have godfathers and the authorities that are supposed to prosecute and bring them to book are dancing to their tune, how are we going to grow as a country? And how do we get to go global and be a country that will be admired by other countries?
Okay, well, firstly, we must understand, the foundation of all of this. Beyond Nigeria having the most backward ruling elites, there are also foreign and global interests in Nigeria. Despite the crisis Nigeria is, there are international interests. You saw the World Bank vice president the other day giving a nod to the so-called reforms, of President Tinubu. So, what I'm trying to say is that there is a system that enables all of this, and that system is built on exploitation, looting of public resources, despite the fact that the country is stupendously blessed. You know, there is a program, a designed program of this particular system to ensure that public funds are looted and are diverted to private hands. And so until there is an upturn of this system, the capitalist system that is designed to continue to loot, to convert what belongs to the vast majority, to a few individuals, until there is an upturn through a working class revolution, we might not see any government that would come and prosecute. The ruling elites are united. Don't forget, we had the case of Alamesia. We had the case of Alamesia in, in Bayelsa, a man who was arrested in the UK, and he had to jump bail, and all of a sudden we found him, in Nigeria. Nobody till today have been able to tell us how Alamesia got to Nigeria, and that same man was widely celebrated. We saw the case of Ibori. As a matter of fact, the judge that gave the ruling of Ibori said that the people of Delta State never had a government. What they had was a thief in government house. And so when you look at all of this trend from 1999 till now, you will know that the ruling elites, as long as they are united in this idea of mass exploitation, mass, stealing and looting, of public funds and making it for private individuals, they will never prosecute each other. Buhari came in and told us the problem that was created in Nigeria was because of the Jonathan regime. But you never saw Buhari prosecuting Jonathan. Tinubu came in and told us Buhari created problem. You will never see a Tinubu prosecuting a Buhari, and that's because all of these people are united in their ideas, and that idea is built on exploitation, looting of public funds, and protecting the interests of the class of individuals.
Thank you,
Thank
Francis.
you so very much. And we have joining us right about now from Abuja is Great Imo. He is equally a public affairs analyst. Good morning to you, Great Imo.
Good morning, Great Imo.
Good morning, my brother, and good morning to our viewers.
Thank you so very much for having you. So, in the course of our discussion, of course, we were talking about the fracas between Yahaya Bello and the EFCC. And according to our analyst, joining us equally virtually, Francis, we talked about what seemed to be allegedly a script playing between Yahaya Bello and the EFCC. But I'd love you to speak to this matter. A Kogi state government filed a suit against the EFCC, citing the stain that remains in the creation of the EFCC. All right. How do you think this would play out? Do you think the EFCC would ever forgive Yahaya Bello and the Kogi state government for going to the open and calling names on the EFCC?
Well, thank you. The whole thing is in the 8th room, and I think in Greek, the ruling elite that time found a way to keep the citizens busy with inanities, very important activities, from such many scripts and movies that were made. Those were in days when they used to have sword wars, like when you used to have kind of Russian roulette kind of games. People pulls bullets on each other, said there's a single bullet. If you roll and you fire and the bullet does not enter into the hole, they use games and activities to keep citizens busy while they are living large on their resources. So the EFCCs of this world have become a modern sack again to keep the citizens busy, and to the extent that you find out that even handlers of the presidency and all that, sometimes you find that they will everybody are running in direction. There are our colleagues in the media almost one discussing. We all forget that the nation have considered today that you can't put money at anything less than 27%. That means they increase the borrowing, decrease the demand for property, starting around this in this sector, getting busy, carried away. I've long stopped seeing years as very important institution in Nigeria. Business going on there. You need to put know how they trade EFCC. You can only get EFCC and remanded in prison when you are not. I assure you, Buhari will say, I assure you, even with taxation, even with the insult the EFCC based on a petition made by the Kogi state government, they don't think at first, he not program his mind as all that in Nigeria to go and dance in the circle, to join the circles where but eventually he's there. You can imagine him going to court with security to follow him. You can imagine by Nigerian security being got Nigerian police and DSS. There was a watching on some platform, Professor, where they were analyzing great nations in the world, in America, talk about China, talk about India. What happened is the sense of responsibility of their they see their nation as a project. They see the people as first responsibility. They see themselves as owning the nation, owning them. And whatever they do, they are not doing it because of what they get. But in a country, when you have lived, is populated. And low self-esteem people who are in their imaginary people of material acquisition of material as a way to prop up their low self-esteem, hold within them. You don't have leaders, no philosopher kings. These guys just run for, in the process, confuse everybody, disorder everybody. Sometimes I just say, I just want to, if I let me tell you, there was a time, one of the last time I appeared with commenting, because even right now, we in the media will have started tolerating them. We don't want to call them out for who they are. We want to see a bunch of people who are wasting people's destiny, to call them for who they are. Meanwhile, adjectives and resist in our vocabularies are used for such context and stopping people's individual when they act in like manner. How can you have a country where its leaders are protesting, buying private jets, buying escalators, and the citizens are dying of hunger? How can you prioritize? How can you respect a nation where somebody who has looted a state pay salaries of work, pensioners are being owed, graduates are not paid, and then this guy is working with security agencies behind him and going to the court with them, and you tell us that EFCC is an important source of result. I beg your pardon.
Thank you so much, Great.
The only thing they can do is to run around, use the gun to people who have no power to blame them. Nigerians, ordinary Nigerians who cannot fight back. They use them as a example. Go to cafes and everybody, all young people who have top and accuse them of being Yahoo boys and use their number to make up for the case they have prosecuted.
Thank you so much.
These people are they're clowns.
Thank you so much, Great Timo. We could feel the emotions and the anger in your voice. But we pray Nigeria gets to that point where we will invite people to dance to the tune of the music.
Why are we talking this? We started the cycle of doom again.
Very true.
Thank you so much, Great. Thank you. Looking at our time, we're sorry we had to cut you short. And this will be our last question to you, Francis. But before I ask you the question, I want to actually read out something from the judge who delivered the judgment for the Kogi State suit. Now, that is coming from Ms. Abba, and she delivered the judgment, and she rebuked the plaintiffs, describing the intention behind filing the legal action as selfish. Now, let me read something. The judge said Kogi offered itself as a puppet for corrupt practices by leading the charge against the anti-corruption agencies. Now, I want to ask you, but in all sincerity, can we say for a fact that the EFCC is free from all its allegations, and should it continue existing as an agency if we should be truthful and call a spade a spade? Francis, this is to you.
Well, the EFCC, in all, if he wants to prove that it's an agency that needs to be respected, should not just prosecute Yahaya Bello, but to go back to its archive and bring out all those who have been, all those governors, who some of them are in the House of Assembly, in the National Assembly, some are in Senate, some are in the House of Rep. In fact, including the sitting president, he was, I mean, the man who was investigating him is now his NSA, the former EFCC boss, Nuru Ribadu, who was investigating him, is now an NSA to the president. And so, when you look at all of this, where are all of these governors? Where are all of these persons who were, who were under investigation, who were alleged to have stolen, one fund or the other, or misappropriated and all of this? The EFCC has a responsibility to ensure that all of these persons are not just prosecuted, but are also made, to pay for what they have. And in doing that, not under this kind of system, like I said, the EFCC, he who pays the pipe, he takes the tool. When Nigeria is currently has been hijacked, the state has been hijacked, where you have the executive determine everything that happens. You have the Fabio telling you that anything the president wants, that they are going to approve it. And so you saw judges, you saw the way judges were used to handle the issue of protesters. I mean, put Yahaya Bello side by side with those who were arraigned for protests. They were being charged for treason, including minors. They were kept in the dock, for over 100 days. And when you put side by side with a criminal who have been alleged to have looted the treasury of the state, how he was escorted by security agency, by his loyalists, how he was sitting down laughing, you will see that all of this, does not show that the EFCC. And don't forget that before now, Yahaya Bello had been escorted to the EFCC office by the sitting governor of Kogi State. And he went there, and he came out. He came back. And they also went to his house, his lodge, the lodge in the night. And they did all kind of drama, wanting to adopt Yahaya Bello. But the question is Yahaya Bello too big? Is Yahaya Bello so sophisticated that the EFCC cannot arrest? You see that all of these are still continuation. What happened yesterday was a continuation of the script. that happened, that have been happening.
Thank you so much, Francis.
Almost 2 years ago.
Thank you so much. Great, Timo, please, can we get your parting shot in 60 seconds?
Especially as it concerns Sonwoli's case with the EFCC. And I would love you to state your submission with regards to the much celebrated red line and the blue rail and the red rail and so on, as compared to other countries. Tanzania, we have it. People have compared both and said the cost that it took to construct the rail, the high-speed rail in Tanzania, as opposed to that of Lagos, is not in any way simpatico. In fact, it would take us build 4 more of what we build in Lagos, but of course no one is there to account for it. So speak to us on that, if you may. Great, Timo. Okay, I don't think he is still here with us. Please, Francis, you might take that up if you can.
In 60 seconds, please.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Quickly. I think this is part of what we have always called for. Under a system like this, projects are allocated to party faithfuls, are allocated to party, those who are close to those in government. And the intention is not to provide, services, to the populace, but to make profit. And that's why the government will neglect the Ministry of Works and hand over projects to individuals, to contractors, because the purpose is just to enrich a certain individual. The Ministry of Works is supposed to carry out most of these projects, construction and all of that, but it's not being enabled. They are in comatose. And so the railway, the blue rail that was constructed here in Lagos, just like any other project in Nigeria, will always be 10 times the price it will cost to construct it in any part of the world, because the intention of constructing such projects was not to provide basic services for the people, but to make in profit for few individuals. And that's more reason why we must continue to fight to have a system that will place the power to determine how the society is run on the hands of the working people and the Nigerian people themselves.
Thank you so
very much. And this brings us to what we discussed yesterday on the Davido issue. When he said there's no need for African Americans to come to Nigeria because our economy is in shambles and nothing is not, everything is not working. Leadership is poor. And this brings us to exactly what Francis just talked about. Yes. Where we have leaders who are not accountable to the people.
We have leaders who are not accountable to the people, and we have people, or we the Nigerian people, most times wanting to cover our nakedness in public when we're supposed to be naked and actually, so we can actually get help.
Exactly.
We would actually be covered.
Yes.
But
very true.
We hope Nigerians understand this and get to speak up for themselves, especially at the right time and at the right place.
Thank you so very much, Francis. We truly do appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Francis.
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And also, great Imo, we equally want to say thank you to you. Unfortunately, we lost you as a result. I guess it's a technical glitch, but thank you as always for being here for us. We'd love to say thank you to you. You've watched, you've streamed, wherever you've done that around the world. We'd love to say thank you. We would never take you for granted, but please do well to visit us. You can always find us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV 7. I am Henry Igwebike.
And I'm Choma Okohe.
Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye-bye.